Hello, it's June Crow Singer here, mother of crows, crow mother. I am gonna talk about certain things, certain hot topics that a lot of trans people talk about. I know it's been told time and time and time again, but I am sharing my point of view, my personal experiences, and a different point of view. um, if it's not obvious, you can tell there's something off about me. There's something strange about me. I am a trans woman, male to female, transgender individual. Um, when I was younger, I didn't know what I didn't know there's a process to become a woman. I want to say maybe like when I was like ages 8 to 12, I realized that I'm not like all the other kids. Um, I had long hair. I did like to like ride my bike, work on my bike, but I also like to do other things. Clean house, um, cooking. Very. I did not prefer masculine things. It was just at that time I felt like I was being ostracized, especially with some of my other friends, because I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to play like Legos, or I want to play with dolls. I want to color stuff that little boys at that time were not into. I know it's a different generation, different century. It's just everything's different now. But back then, it wasn't. It was like you had to follow this cookie cutter outline, this shape, this mold, or else you are what people would say. And so you had to conform to a certain way, a certain look, a certain ideology, especially when you are raised in a very conservative Christian area. And I'm not white, so I just had to play. I had to fake it a little bit harder. So at a young age, I knew I wasn't like the rest of the kids. When everyone was starting to mature, puberty, that's when I realized my orientation was not normal. I've always dated women, always dated women, always dated females, but to my friends, they were not conventionally attractive. They were a little rough around the edges. Some were a little bit bigger, some looked a little funky, teeth are not perfect. Obviously my teeth are not the best as well. Uh I have a gap. I have one tooth pushed back. I filed my teeth. I filed my teeth sharper and I made a mistake and I filed one knot. So I was a dumb kid. I was a very, very dumb kid. And so I had interest in personalities. I had interest in someone's soul rather than their body. I didn't know this was a thing. People used to say I was a chubby chaser or I liked crazy chicks because they give crazy sex. You know, it's just that's what people thought of me. But in actuality, I liked individuals who had a good heart and a wonderful personality, which a lot of people would not give those individuals a time of day because, again, they looked rough, they had scars, they just that stigma behind people who did something once or attempted to do something, especially in middle and high school. That was a very rough time for those people. It was a very tough time for them. It wasn't until later high school I started to mess around with guys. Again, this was me trying to figure out why I was interested in certain type certain types of individuals. Um, I'm not bisexual. I'm not homosexual, and I'm not heterosexual. I am pansexual. I don't really care what gender my partner is. Let me. I am monogamous pansexual. Okay. Okay. I know I'm weird. I'm weird. I'm weird. I don't care what my partner looks like, what they're equipped with, as long as they treat me fine, they treat others fine, and they have a good heart and outlook in the world. Of course, we have our own stresses, we have our own anxieties, depression, our own mental issues. I don't want to say triggers, but mental issues that we have to face throughout daily life, which is understandable. I have my issues as well. But that doesn't really, problems do not define a person. It's really what is on the inside, something that a lot of people cannot see. And for me, I I can talk to people, talk to a specific person and be like, "Okay, this is who you really are. This is why you put this facade to hide your true self. This is why you're hiding on the inside." I I don't want to say I'm like like an empath or whatever, but I do have that sense of empathy that will allow me to see people's true colors and what they strive to be. When I grew up, I lived on my own. I did a lot of fooling around, a lot of experimenting, but the years leading up to that, I did a lot of dressing up. I did a lot of cross dressing. I've in my childhood home, I've probably had at least three sisters living with me, living with me and my parents. Every now and then, their clothing would end up missing, and I wonder why. And so that was the start of me figuring out who I was is by stealing clothes and dressing up in their clothes, wearing their heels, taking their makeup, just embarrassing, very, very embarrassing. Another thing I would do is, I think when I was like before a teenager, like before a preteen, when I was like maybe 6 or 7, I would get the J.C. Penney catalog. I would look at the women in their underwear, brasiers, and stuff like that they're trying to sell. I'm like, dang, they have a wonderful body. They have such smooth and clear skin, and it's just me idolizing that. Like, like I wanted to be them. Now, looking back at that, like obviously, obviously, I was, yeah, but back then I didn't know. It was a different time, a different generation. It was just different. So I would cross dress a lot, especially when I lived on my own. I was so much skinnier than what I am now. But because of that, I didn't have any shape. I didn't even have a decent booty. um, it was sad. It was a sad time. It was a sad life. So I did a lot of cross dressing, and then I've I had a girlfriend at the time actually walk in on me dressing up, and this is when I had long hair down to my back. Um, and I just became like super embarrassed. Like when you're not out and someone catches you in the act, just nightmares, like sweat coming down. You feel like cold but hot. You want to cry, you just want to run away. I just felt all these emotions in one. Now, months after that, we did break up. I don't know if it's because of that or other reasons, but that relationship split shortly after. And because of that, I had no more access to any clothes. um, oh my god, it's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. So it wasn't until a couple years ago that I realized that I can make this official. I can actually make these wants, desires, this missing piece of me come to fruition. I didn't know what it was. It wasn't until I was actually doing, like, I never had a TV, so I could never see things on that. It wasn't until I've heard of Kristen Beck, Lady Valor, ex Navy SEAL, male to female, trans individual. She gave me a lot of motivation. Seeing what she went through as a SEAL, um, and then coming out as a really beautiful woman. She was happy. She wasn't like hardcore political, military. I come from a military family. Um, it's just, to me, it was like, wow. So this is what I can actually be. This is what I become, what I can become. Like I said, a couple years ago is when I discovered Kristen Beck and her story. And the more I actually look into it, there's more and more people like that. And it's sad, but there's more bad reports of bad interactions as well. Ex ex sailor beaten to death, resuscitated. Women, male to female woman killed by partner. It's sad. It's a sad reality. But there's always going to be hardships. There's always going to be those obstacles that will be there to test your own constitution. You can judge yourself to say, this is the right path. This is what I want to be. This is who I want to become. This is the self that I strive to be. Being in a conservative, highly conservative, hardcore Republican state, I'm still going to transition. I don't really care what anyone says. As long as I still have this strive to be a hard worker. I do me. I pay my taxes. I pay my medical bills. As long as I have that strive, I will still be alive. Bad thing to say. Bad thing to say. As long as I still have that strive, I will still continue to be me. When I came out to my family, that brought up a lot of issues. Now, my mother did not accept it. She still thought of me as this little kid that she raised. She did not accept me. She did not call me by my preferred name. She called me by my dead name. She always referred to me as the wrong gender, the unpreferred gender. And with that, it became the starting point of the big fallout with my family. I'm not saying this will happen to everyone. You may have younger family. My mom, she was like 60. No, she was 60 something. I think she was like 64, maybe. She was older, old generation way back when. So she wasn't open minded about that. Now, if I came out as gay, she would have been like, "Oh, okay, that's awesome." But no, I came out as something that wasn't really known back then. I guess. Yeah. So that brought a big delve between me and my family because a lot of things came to light where I was locked in my room, dressed up, streaming, playing video games, and they always wanted me to do stuff because I was the only one with a decent working car. So I just hated it. It was a bad environment. It was a toxic environment. There was so much yelling. There was so much of them take. So much entitlement. I'm a simple person. I just want to be happy. And so I cut the ties to my family to be happy. You have to do what you have to do to become happy and to continue your journey. Throughout my life, I've had depression and anxiety. I had what is it? What is it actually classified? Non-combat PTSD. I say that because that's a big distinction between a completely valid reason to get PTSD and something else that just stays with you, something in the civilian world that stays with you. Now, I suffer from PTSD because the death of my brother. He was 16 and he was shot and killed by a 40-year-old woman. One day he was here and the next morning he was gone. Several days after that, I saw his body. I touched his breathless chest that was filled with hard fluid. His skin purple and bruised and pale. His facial features were sunken in and flattened. Because of that, I can no longer hold a gun because in fear of me subconsciously wanting to do things, um, me wanting to take revenge, take my own life. But when the year, it was several months after that happened, I left the state for 10 years. California, Arizona, Tennessee, um, Illinois. I just went to different states just to forget about the negative. And with that, unfortunately, I still have that stress, that emotional scar within me. It is a weakness, it is a flaw, but it's something that helps me realize I can achieve other things, I can conquer other fears. Unfortunately for me, it is not the end, but it's a new start, it's a new life. Obviously, I would want my brother here with me, but this is what happened. There's things in life where we cannot there's certain things in life we cannot prevent, but we can cope with them. And because of this external force taking someone who was very, very dear to me, it brought forth a lot of anxiety. Like, I can't trust you because I don't know your intentions. I can't trust you because I don't know if you're gonna hurt me. I can't meet you because you might fucking kill me. Especially if you find out if I have a dick. So, a lot of anxieties because the world can be an evil thing, but in this ugliness, you can have a wonderful safe haven, a garden. You can walk through the meadows of golden trees. You just have to work for it. Sure, you may lapse to the darkness, the depression, the anxiety. You may succumb to the dysphoria, but eventually things will get better. Especially if you're in transition. If you just started transitioning, or if you're in the mid, or even if you're in the end game, we still have room for growth. At this moment, I am gender fluid. Not on my own accord, but I'm gender fluid because I don't have a lot of money for clothes. Clothes don't have a gender. I'm well aware of that. People say that, but I want to present the best I can. And it's hard with a face like this and a shadow, certain features. Obviously, I have some of the chest down, but this is mostly padding, some padding. So I have some of the features down, but I also have features that I do not like. And this is what boiled up in me yesterday, where I was comparing myself to all these people. I'm like, why do I have these muscles? Why did I have to work out so much in the military? Why did I have to compete with other people in the gym? Oh, it's because I wasn't comfortable with myself back then. It was because I tried to hide who I was by trying to be the bro, trying to be the gym rat, trying to be the other people in this competition to try to prove to myself, well, not really to myself, but try to prove to them that I am of their yoke. And because of that, I am going through the challenges of losing weight, losing all this muscle, especially with the decline metabolism because I'm on estrogen. But it's my journey, it's my adventure, it's my struggle, but I will make the best of it. So I am gender fluid because I can't afford the clothes. Um, because I am not completely out at work. I'm out, but per HR, I am not out. There are, let me tell this story. In the morning, uh, I usually wake up really, really early. If I want to dress up and do my makeup, I wake up an hour and a half early. If I just want to go in guy mode where I just put on clothes, I wake up 30 minutes early. And then I do like breakfast and I go to work. So it was one of these days where I wanted to go in girl mode, makeup, all that stuff. Decent outfit, really good, decent outfit. Um, and I'm usually there around 7. I'm usually there around like 6:40, maybe 6:50. And at 7, my coworker and his girl show up. At 7, his shift starts. Mine starts at 7:30. And so his girl's shift doesn't start until 8:30. She's in a different department. I talk to her almost like every day, you know, girl talk. We just chat about different things, makeup, video games, just different things that girls are interested in. Um, so we were in our room and we got yelled at because they thought a guy and a girl should not be in a room alone. Mind you, I was dressed up. I had my makeup on. Being told that made me fucking furious. This made me want to step out of line and file a complaint with HR. But again, I'm not officially out at work. Officially, I'm not out at work. So my complaint will fall short. Same day, I applied to different jobs. I'm not probably gonna get them because I don't have all these certificates. I don't have a master's degree. I don't have all this and that. The only thing I have is debt and a bachelor's degree. Nice. That's what I get for living in this state. But I am gender fluid because I have to be. I have to be to survive. Because the moment I officially come out at work, that's when people will think of me differently. All the admin staff, all the supervisors, managers, they will think of me different. They will treat me differently. They'll treat me with clean gloves on. Because we live in a very, very PC world where they don't want to do any harm, any damage to their reputation, damage to the company. It's not like I'm going to complain or anything like that. I wanted to then because I felt attacked, but not really attacked, but I was just upset. I was just upset. And I live in a state where there's no, I have no protection. I have no rights. The moment I come out, if I cause a lot of issues or if they if there's a lot of accommodations that they cannot meet, I can get fired. So, unfortunately, I am gender fluid because of that. Because of because of the fear of my financial situation, I can move back to like Arizona or like the West Coast and I will have no worries, but right now being on the East Coast, the Southeast Coast, I don't have that luxury. I do have to hide, but it's not going to stop me from being me. And I think that's all I have to talk about today. Yeah. I'm sorry for all these long videos. I'm sorry for information overload and all this stuff, but it's just a vlog for me to express what I'm going through, and hopefully whoever looks at these can see, hey, you're not alone. Your struggle is my struggle. You may have it worse, you may have it better. We have this common ground of this strife and strive to be who we were always meant to be. I'm gonna go cry in the other room. Well, actually, I'm gonna go cry in the kitchen while I clean and cook. I'll let you guys be. I will return in another video. Maybe I will talk about hormones and how they've been affecting me mentally and physically and all that stuff. From a lighthearted video to a dark video to another lighthearted video. Alright. Goodbye. I am June Crowsinger. I will see you on the next video. Bye. No thanks. Already have them. Wait a minute. Where are my fucking pickles?